Sorry, I know you can't see me, but I'll just say this quick with my words. I think I'm finally over like chasing over friendships and whatever for like validation because honestly, being myself has brought me more people than yeah, and people who truly are there for me would not be scared of like whatever side of myself I show. And I'm tired of showing a watered down version. And also, frankly, if I'm gonna be alone, like, I'd rather have breakdowns over actually being alone and being isolated and meeting new people than breakdowns over how alone I feel with the friends I have. And, like, how big does the red flag need to get before I finally feel like I have the right to leave that relationship or leave that friendship? I know I already have a complex past in childhood where basically anytime I did try to end a friendship or end a relationship, I was usually punished by whoever for doing so. Even if I did it as nicely as possible, I was still just made to have the right to feel like I didn't deserve respect or consent or autonomy. And that's not fun whatsoever. And now that I'm old enough, it's like I used to be very good about it when I was younger. Someone could, let's say when I was 12, someone could be like make an offhand joke about me and then think they could get away with it. And then I think to myself, "Ah, that's a fucked up joke they just made and they seem to mean it. It doesn't seem like they're just fucking with me whatsoever." And I'm not down for that. So the next time they saw me, they straight up tried to be like, "Hey, Tamia, how's it going?" Ha ha ha. And I just straight up was like, "Hi." Or wait, no, I said, "Do not talk to me. I'm not in the mood." And then he was like, "Whoa, whoa, what's wrong?" And I just was like, "You know what you did, and you know how to resolve it. But as of now, I don't want to talk to you. So don't worry about it." And he hated that so fucking much, but it's okay. And people thought I was a bitch just for like years later. Everyone was like, "Yeah, it turns out Noah's a massive fucking asshole. Like, he's just disrespectful and he gets off on insulting people all the time." And it's like, "Yeah, I clocked that years ago. And you all said I was just some insane bitch who was on my period, so fuck you." And I was really good at taking note of certain things. Like, I was, hell, multiple times. I remember this one specific kid joined class, and I took note of all the things he did, and I thought, these are massive red flags. Everyone ignored him. Then guess what? He just left everybody behind and didn't give a fuck about any person who he abandoned, no matter how useful or meaningful they thought they were to him. Nope, they were all disposable, and they let slide all the insults, all the shitty remarks, and shitty actions, and fucking of girlfriends, and all of that. Also, just, yeah. And then I'd say at some point, I remember specifically right after I ended things with my first boyfriend in high school. It's because he sexually assaulted me and also was becoming even more like violent and sexually abusive and weird and just lame. I broke up with him, and then that went from like me having a solid chance sophomore year of having people like me because they liked him, even though I was perfectly likable on my own, mind you. People were just ableist or racist and shit, disgusting. Let's just say shit hit the fan, and let's just say next thing you know, you got a whole bunch of people who don't like you. And if it's not because you're autistic or you're black or a girl or whatever, it's because, well, you broke that one guy's heart. And I thought I was being nice by not telling people what he did. But nope. No, no, no. I had to face even more pain, all because a man couldn't take a heartbreak. Then, next thing you know, my home life also was not good around that time period. So I specifically remember that I heavily relied on, like, my other friends who were isolated from everyone else at the time, like in special ed class, and we all were tight knit. Everyone treated me like I was the class princess. It was amazing, and it was so fun. We'd always just tell jokes and laugh and fuck around with each other, and it was great. And then I'd go home and I'd stare at my wall for like fucking 8 hours until eventually someone came home. And then I'd go to bed or hang out in my bedroom and go on Tumblr or whatever. And I think that's actually right where I started over relying on like other people to be my sense of joy. Because if you got a fucked up home life and a fucked up school life, and there's this neat little corner where like everyone's tight knit with each other like a found family community, you think you can trust them, right? The answer is no. Because let's just say when I broke up with one dude in the class for trying to cheat with me, next thing you know, revenge porn. Next thing you know, rumors spread, insults, bitch, whore, slut. There was nothing that I could be in their eyes that could ever be seen as good again. And they were all too happy to dispose of me and mistreat me. And let's just say I got backed into a corner. And everything got fucked. And because I forgot how it felt to truly have fun I used to be able to hang out just by myself all the time, regardless of my home environment. But then my home environment got worse, so I didn't even have the room or safety to do that. And then on top of that, then I had the school bullshit, and I couldn't even have an escape from home, and then it was just constant hell. So I think that actually kind of that, and then years of that, the next thing you know, leaving high school and being traumatized, and then the pandemic, right when I was actually getting back on my feet and feeling like I could actually handle a job and handle life and be okay. And then even more isolation and fear and COVID and germophobia and disrespect and abuse, more abuse to get over, more and more and more and more. And then eventually it's just like, I just remember any relationship I had ever since I have left my old house and abandoned everyone has been a relationship where usually I was just escaping the fact that I could not feel like I could have fun by myself or truly like my life just being by myself. I lost the ability to just enjoy myself. I used to be the type of person where I could probably be I I don't know. I was the type of person where I would think that if I got lost in a forest or on an island, I would live for a very long time without losing my mind because I'd just be so content with myself. That my whole life was spent alone, like most of it. Any time with other people was usually pretty limited. I didn't have any friends. But to sum it up, I will say this. I had that epiphany recently because in my most recent relationship, the one I dated after Morgan, and if you don't know who Morgan is, he's the topic of my last video where I talked about leaving an abusive relationship. I met this guy named Jared. He seemed sweet, was trying very hard to prove to me that he was not like the others, and then quickly showed that he was just like all the others, just with a different look to him. And I remember he made me feel like such shit about breaking up with him each time he did. Such shit. Sometimes, like, there's more times he was shitty about it than times he was sweet about it. And I just remember being like, I had the epiphany of, oh, is it really okay to leave this guy for trying to like touch me in my sleep or like wake me up and keep me up for hours in the dead of night just to like try to force me to fuck him? Is it really wrong to leave a guy just because he keeps doing sexual things to my body without my consent? And then I just kind of had a flashback epiphany because I was thinking, where did this come from? Where did this urge to think that I couldn't leave people come from? And it's right, a lifelong feeling of like I could try to end things with a male friend and the teacher would pressure me to get back with him. The same thing in high school, say just repeatedly. Like I was always made to prioritize someone else over myself, and it was made to feel like disrespect was something that was inevitable instead of prevented, and I had to tolerate it because I didn't have to hurt a man's feelings. I remember when I broke up with Liam, the ex I dated before Morgan, for weaponized incompetence and also weird opinions on the age of consent and like just lots of things. Just being a pathetic man who, even though he wasn't inherently abusive, was just pathetic. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm such an asshole. I broke his heart and I care for him. And he was acting like I was such an evil bitch too for a bit. But then I had to remind myself, no, if he really wanted to be the guy I wanted, he would have been the guy I wanted, and he chose not to be. So that's not my fucking issue. And it's not my fucking problem that he did what he did. And then with Morgan too, Morgan always was the type, he was scarier. He was the type to show up at my job or call me endlessly from like hella different phone numbers on some weird shit, hitting me up on any social platform he could to make it feel like there was no physical escape that you could have from him. And it's like, oh, but I'm the bad guy because I want to leave you for being not only kind of scary, but also just like, oh, how are you going to obsess over me, but also not take me out on dates anymore? How are you going to claim you love and adore me, but you really just want to have sex? Like, just multiple, there's levels to this shit. Hell, actually, I even thought of this. I remember I broke up with this one guy named Patrick. I call him Patrick number two because he's the second Patrick I've ever dated, and also he sucks. So did Patrick number one, but let's date it. Let's stick to the story. Patrick number two, I remember he didn't even want to be around me. at some point. He was like, I fucked Tamia recently, but now she might want to hang out on Valentine's Day. I don't like her like that. She keeps texting, she keeps doing this. I don't want her around. Like he was having that sort of attitude. But then when I actually showed up at his door and I was like, here's a letter. Thank you for being such a good friend. And then the letter said that I had to end things with him, but that I very much wished him well in life and that after some time we could still be friends. Suddenly that nigga was out here crying and shit and being hella dramatic and sending me fucked up texts about how badly he wants to kiss me and this, and that. Mainly, not because he actually did miss me, just because I hurt his ego. And it's very scary what happens when you hurt a man's ego, because they will just lose any humanity in you that they barely even saw and just get the facade drops, the mask comes off, and all the rage comes out. And you don't want to be at the brunt end of it. But yeah, so because of that, I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I want to date men anymore because I don't want to be afraid that someone's gonna fuck me over. I don't want to be afraid of being trapped with someone, even if not with like handcuffs, but just like emotionally, and then made to feel like I'm an awful person because I dare want to, like, not get raped, or because I want to be able to sleep at someone's house safely and not be touched or harmed or disrespected in disgusting ways. Or hey, it'd be like I just want a safe situation where I feel safe and respected, and I very much do not like how specifically men get when they are left for doing behaviors that they knew ahead of time that I would hate. So yeah, that's why I'm just not dating anybody right now. I'm focusing on myself. You did it. Congratulations, all of you motherfuckers. You finally broke me. I'm done with dating. No more of it. No more dates. Just nothing but Tamia. Everything about me is gonna be for me. All the hairstyles I want, all the clothes I wear, anything is all about Tamia. I do it for myself, and I sometimes for the girls and the gays, and that's it. Nothing else. We're done. So I guess all in all, I would love it if I could have peace and prosperity and joy, and that would be really nice. And I'm no longer looking for that from a man. Any money I have is going to be invested in me. And any money I do hypothetically even get from some man, it's going to be invested in anything in my house so that then my house is good, my home is good, and I don't feel the need to leave it because that's how I was as a kid. I could just be home all the time, just relaxing and drawing and painting and singing songs that I knew no one else would like, but not giving a shit because who else would be listening? And I'd be making artwork and thinking of stories and telling myself jokes and watching nice videos and having a blast trying new things. And I want to bring, like, now that I'm actually sitting with myself and letting myself be bored, it's like, oh, I actually, if when I'm not spending all my money on clothes and jewelry or wigs to try to hopefully impress a man, or hell, what kind of clothes and jewelry and wigs do I like for myself and I'm just trying to impress me? What would I wear if it's just me watching and no one else, and I was the only person on this planet who mattered? Hmm. And it would be like once you actually let yourself sit there in your house that you cleaned yourself and take care of and actually decorate to your taste, that is so good that you'd never want to leave your house for anything less than you deserve. Then you will be home and you'll be comfy and cozy. And instead of being like, oh, I can't leave this nigga who's touching me, because otherwise I'm just gonna go back to my shitty apartment with the nasty, like, mystery liquid filled cups and the smells and the laundry and the no proper way to sleep comfortably. So I should stay here and just hopefully hope that he stops. And then maybe I can just lay down in his nice big bed and get some warm food in my belly. Like, fuck all that shit. I'd rather it be like, oh, this nigga disrespected me. I'm punching the fuck out of him. He's taking me home, and I'm gonna lay in my cozy bed after making myself a delicious meal, and I'm gonna sleep and be happy with all my bases needed so I don't have to rely on a man for my happiness. And then I'm gonna do things that bring me joy, and I'm just noticing that as I sit here and allow myself to be bored, I kind of have a natural urge of curiosity for the things I have. Like, oh, what about that book I didn't finish in that corner over there? Ooh, I have all this jewelry I can organize. Oh, I could look through these old SD cards of all my favorite memories. This, and that. And then, like, now I'm actually seeing the person I am and who I am and who I've hidden from the men I've dated. Typically straight cis white men. And it's like, this is the part of me that always was there, and I'm glad that I have made my way back to her safe and sound, and that I can finally start embracing the life that I know she deserves, instead of trying to water myself down to be a Stepford wife to some undeserving asshole who can't even wipe his own ass properly. That's all. Peace out. Take care.